Hi, I'm Dr. Felicia LaBoy, lead pastor and life coach at the historic First United Methodist Church in Downtown Elgin, Illinois, with your motivational moment from the Bible. This week, I want to talk to you about how has God gifted and called you. Often when we talk about being called, we think of people like me, people who are pastors. But I want to submit to you that all of us has been called and gifted and graced. That means I have the right temperament, the right personality to do something that shows someone else who God is and how much God loves them. Some of us are called to preach, like me, and some of us are called to be great administrators, can organize anything. Some of us know how to go and take a few scraps of something, whether it be food or decorated items or cloth or something like that, and make a whole meal or a whole outfit out of it. All of us, beloved, are given some kind of gift by God to do something great. Now that might sound a little churchified, so I want to make a practical example to make my point. This is a knife. When I was a single woman and before I knew better, I used this as a knife, but I also used this as a screwdriver. I know, this is not a screwdriver, but I had a screw and it fit, and so it was a screwdriver. The only problem with that is that trying to use a knife for something other than it was created for messed up my knife and my screws. So what's the point? Renowned pastor and business consultant Miles Monroe often said that when we didn't know the purpose of a thing, then abuse was inevitable. When you don't understand that your wife is not your maid or your secretary, but actually your wife is called to be your helpmate and your companion, and you all are to be in submission to each other, then abuse, even if it's not knock down, drag out, then abuse is inevitable. When you understand that your job is not just there to take care of you, but your job is there to provide a needed function in the world, you won't abuse your job. And when you know who and how God has made you and know that He wants to be in relationship with you, then you and I will stop abusing ourselves, because I want to submit to you that when we are not clear about how God has gifted and graced us, then we run around trying to be poor imitations of someone else's masterpiece. Let me give a perfect example. In Matthew 25, we're told of a parable where Jesus says that the master gave one servant 10 talents, one servant 5, and one talent, and one. The guy with the 5 talents is not trying to make 10. He's doing as much as he can with what he has. The guy with the 10 talents, he's doing as much as he can with what he has. Can you imagine how frustrating it would have been for the guy who had 5 talents to try to be like the guy with 10 talents? And yet, how often do we try to keep up with the Joneses, whether it is in life, in ministry, at work? I'm not saying it's not good to strive. I'm saying be the very best you can be and stop being the very best that someone else is. And most of all, do not be like the servant who hid the very talent that he had. You know, often in our churches and our organizations and things like that, it is said that 20% of the people carry 80% of the load. You know, in 1 Corinthians 12, we're told that the church should function like a body. Can you imagine if only 20% of your body was working, how much of an invalid and how crippled you would be? So, beloved, my challenge this week is spend some time with the manufacturer and ask God to show you who God has made you to be. Just because you can do something, don't forget about my knife, this is not a screwdriver, doesn't mean that you can. But if you will be all that God has created you to be, I promise you that God will do marvelous things with your life, and you will be a lot happier, and so will all of those around you, and the abuse, even if you're abusing yourself, will stop. I love you. Have a great week, and I'll catch you next week with another motivational moment from the Bible. Thanks. See you then.